Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today I am very excited to bring to you my June setup in my bullet journal, which is in my Stalogy notebook. This setup is kind of continuing the more minimal and simplistic spreads that I've been kind of going for this past month, so I hope you guys enjoy that. The supplies are pretty minimal because the setup is pretty minimal. All you really need is a pen of choice. I'm using a gel pen, and I'll be using both the soft and hard tip Tombow Funosuke brush pens. And if you want to sketch stuff out beforehand, a pencil and eraser would be probably very helpful. So starting off with my lovely cover page, I don't really do much to this cover page besides lettering the name of the month. But why I keep coming back to this simple cover page layout is because I love to put my bookmark on the page right here, and then it makes it so much easier for me to flip to my monthly section during June. So that's kind of what that is for. Very simple, but very effective. So for this month's calendar, I wanted to change it up a little bit because I wanted to add a little more structure in my monthly calendar, as well as adding a section for goal setting. I have been really trying to set more goals and do more goal setting in 2020, and something that helped me with kind of developing some new goal setting strategies during isolation is listening to the Rachel Hollis Rise podcast. I recently listened to her podcast on how to set a vision during isolation and how to kind of modify your goals. And that really helped me get out of the rut of kind of not wanting to set goals due to the unpredictability of what's around us. So I would recommend checking that out if you're kind of in a similar situation. Under the focus section, I'm going to be adding some goals for a couple categories, and these categories are fitness, finance, friends and family, and then for me, which is kind of personal wellness related. So I don't really go into creating those here because I find for me, just kind of writing down the goal and then some action steps is what works best for me. So that's kind of why it's blank, because I just kind of like to write stuff like that down. I don't like to kind of create sections and restrictions on how much I can write. One thing I do want to point out with this page is the numbers that I'm about to put in the top left-hand corner right here. This is a list structure inspired by the Alistair method. It's just a way of creating to-do lists for specific dates in the future. But I just wanted to mention that I use the numbers 1, 8, 15, and 22 because those are the first days of each week in June. So when I assign to-do lists, I know what week I'm actually assigning dates to. Previously, I've done just like 1, 2, 3, 4 for the weeks, and then I can never remember what week 4 is versus week 3, so that's kind of why I decided to write in the days of the actual Monday of each start of the week. Good news for my habit tracker, I kept the same structure as I set up in my May plan with me. The only thing that I did change a lot this month is the actual habits that I am tracking, specifically in the key section, which is my kind of section of habits that are essential for me to have a happy and healthy day. I just found that the habits I was tracking weren't necessarily related to what made me happy or feeling healthy that day. They were more things that I thought led to me feeling happy and healthy, but I kind of did a little bit of reflection on that, and I realized that a couple things were missing. For me, something really important is getting outside once a day, making sure that I'm eating 3 meals a day, having proper hygiene, brushing your teeth, that's important, and also making sure I'm going into my journal at least once a day. So I did add a couple different actual habits I'm tracking, but overall, the tracker is still pretty much the same. Of course, I have to track my plant watering. I've been going in with a pencil in this section as well and marking the days with a pencil that I think I need to water my plants. This has been really helpful for developing a watering routine and knowing how many times a month my plants need to be watered. Then I have my sleep section. I like to track my sleep the night that goes into that day, if that makes sense. I feel like that didn't make sense. I get all that information from my sleep cycle app, which is my alarm. So in the morning, I just check that to see how long I slept. Oh, here's a pro tip. If your gel pen is a bit smudgy, like mine is, and you want to erase, actually tap the eraser and it'll help take off the pencil without smudging your pen. And you know what? I will add a photo of the tracker filled in here just so you can see what it looks like, because I actually don't use a marker. I like to just take my soft tip brush pen and make lines for things I've done. I find that's just a little easier for me instead of searching for a marker that I can usually never find. So these are 2 new spreads that are very, very necessary in my life right now, and I can't believe it's taken this long for me to make them. So I like to read a lot of books, and I tend to have a very, I'm gonna say, eclectic reading style. If you have a better word for it, go ahead, but I don't know. I tend to read very different books, from Crazy Rich Asians to Emma by Jane Austen. Those are a couple things I've read during this month. So yeah, there's variety, I will say that, but I wanted to make myself a to-read list. This is obviously very simple. It's just like a quick grid so I can make a list and check off the books that I'm reading. On the other side, I just did the title, Run Log, because I just want to use this blank space to record my progress running outside. Normally, I like to do cycling and spinning, but obviously that's not really happening right now, so I've taken to running instead. Finally, moving on to the last spread of this setup. This is my rolling weekly layout. I find this layout has been really helpful for creating structure in my day because I personally have no concept of time right now, and it's actually pretty easy to set up, which is nice because I do appreciate a quick, efficient spread. So what I like to do for this spread is dedicate half of each page to one day, with the final section being for tasks on the 4th page. And then what I'll do is I'll write down the title of each day of the week, and I will write the number right above. I like to draw a line between the numbers so that I know how far each section of the day goes until. And then what I like to do is I like to go in and create a time ladder with a to-do list underneath. I give my time ladder the hours of 8 until 9 p.m. Sometimes what I'll actually do is I'll go from 8 until 6, and then I'll just write EVE in the last square for evening, since I don't really have multiple things going on in the evening right now. And that's been helpful for me too, to make a bit of a shorter time ladder, but right now I have a bit more room. And then I use the bottom half of each section for my to-do list, and I'll also write down any deadlines or birthdays going on in that section as well. I will also mention this spread was inspired by Plant-Based Bride on YouTube. She was the first person who introduced me to the whole concept of rolling weekly. So if you want information about this type of spread, she has a very helpful and comprehensive video on it, which I will link below. And then I do like to add at the bottom of this spread a line 2 squares up. And what I use this for is to write down any activity I did that day. This could be a workout, a walk, some stretching, maybe some yoga, depending on how I'm feeling that day. But this just helps remind me to do something active every day. And it also is a great way to track my workouts. Oh, here is another tip. I took this bag and I just kind of rubbed the page, as you could just see there. Essentially what this does is it helps remove any extra ink so it doesn't transfer to the other page when I close my notebook. And that's it. Just fold the middle page so you can kind of fold it over and see the task page, and the spread is done. Okay, so this is the end of the setup. Here's a little flip through of all the spreads we did today. We did a lot. Yeah, we did a lot, but I think it's good. And you know what? Because these spreads are so simple, setting up a bunch of them like I just did only took me about 30 minutes. So it's pretty speedy, even though there is a lot to do. And you know what? Let me know. I want to know below. What are you reading right now? What books have you been really enjoying? Maybe you don't read. Let me know. If you don't read, maybe what are you watching right now that you're enjoying? Or what kind of activity are you doing right now that's fun? I would love to know below and chat with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.